There was a time in high school, like, where I was surrounded with so many people talking about social media or what they see on the TV and everything. And I didn't really believe most of the stuff that was going on, but there was this incident with my cousin who she had this terrible fallout with her friend over something very drastic, very unimportant, that ended a 6-year friendship. That afterwards, in the heat of the moment, she took it onto social media and started spreading all this information that was told to her in secret. And she didn't think of the outcome at first until it was too late. And the outcome of that was that her friend wasn't her friend anymore. That's not a surprise, because that was information that was very top secret for her, and very, it was like a dark past that she shared, so it was harsh in many ways. So that friendship ended. She was attacked on social media by other people defending the other girl. And due to that, she felt in a state of depression, but she knew what she did was wrong. But she didn't think of the, but due to the fact that she didn't think of the outcome, it affected not only her, but others around her. And that's one of the dangers and consequences of social media. And there are 3 major things when it revolves around social media that we all need to keep in mind. Is things could be taken out of context, blown out of proportion. We could think of it as something so little and innocent, and it could be blown into something bigger than that, into something so negative and hurtful or dangerous. Or it could affect someone's life in a way that we never expected it to become. To start that off, I want to tell you the definition of, the meaning of out of context. And out of context is when you say something one way and people see it a different way. It could either come negatively or positively. Most of the times on social media, it comes out really negatively and it hurts a lot of people. And the definition, and I want to tell you the definition of blown out of proportion, and that is when someone sees something in a bigger format than it was meant to be. And I got those two definition and meanings from Collins English Dictionary and Merriam-Webster. And an example of blown out of proportion is when fake news travels all over social media or any media platform. It affects people's point of it. And an example of that is when the whole Ebola news came out onto the world. People saw that it was even present at all, and they freaked out. They thought they could see the difference of any other sickness with that, but in reality, the Ebola thing, to find the symptoms, was the same as the stomach flu, and they didn't know that till the end. So many people started freaking out because of that. And also, fake news travels faster than the real news. The top 1% of false news cascades diffuse to between 1,000 and 100,000 people, whereas the truth rarely diffuse to more than 1,000 people. One wrong move from one person can leave a lasting effect on another person. Oh, no. I just put them up so I didn't have to click it. One wrong move from one person or anyone else can leave a lasting effect on people. You could be posting something and thinking it's okay and that it's alright to be posted. For example, this Facebook post was where they said, just want to give a heads up to the women who have rights, a right to cook and a right to clean. Today is Sunday and the NFL playoffs are on. I suggest you stop, I'm not gonna say that, your blank protesting during this time because you also have a right to get slapped. The outcome for this, he was attacked majorly by other females, not just females, but husbands who think that was incredibly wrong, and it was incredibly wrong because it's not only women who do things in the kitchen or prepare, but he classified that as only women. And on side of that, it was something that was expected to get backlash. He afterwards, after this post was posted, he apologized about it. I couldn't find the other apology. But he apologized for his wording and what he said. He said it was very disrespectful and he should never have said it. And the blown out of proportion, this tweet was sent out by Demi Lovato because she was sick and she had to cancel, I'm pretty sure it was like five of her stops on her tour, and the media thought like she was, she was quitting, or like she got into a major accident, she messed up her vocal cords or she couldn't go perform. But in reality, she was homesick with a really rough sore throat that she wanted to make sure she didn't ruin her vocal cords, but due to what the media was saying, she was getting backlash on top of that due to people who paid for her concert tickets and all that. Once something has been shared, it can't be taken down. Something's been shared, it can't be taken down. You could erase it, but once someone's seen it, it's there. Someone could have screenshotted it, someone could have shared it. Or they could have sent it to other people, and the other people could have saved it themselves. And for example, I know you used Justine Sega one, but before this tweet, she did some other posts, and it was talking about, she was on a plane to an area in Europe, and she was complaining about this guy's BO. She would be saying she put weird European dude, and then she'd be saying that's what he was saying, and he'd be like, wow, no one can afford hygiene stuff, things for their hygiene. And then she said that her inner monologue was, yeah, apparently you can't either. And she had to sit next to this person. She turned off her phone when she got off. She got backlash from that because first she put weird European dude instead of saying just European person, or not even posting it at all. And people thought like, oh, she got sympathy for that, but even though she didn't deserve it. And then for this tweet, going to Africa, hope I don't get AIDS, just kidding, I might. The backlash she got for that was expected. n- No surprise. She didn't think it was a big deal, obviously, because she posted it. But after that post, she asked, I don't think it was wrong I posted that because I was drunk, so I shouldn't be losing my job, right? She expected it to be a slide because she was under the influence of alcohol. And another thing is social media ruins someone's reputation, whether they're the ones doing the action or someone else. A 23-year-old sales executive, she was getting messages over social media from unknown people, getting sent inappropriate photos, and then I think it was 3 months later, she got added on an account with all her photos, all her information, and inappropriate photos were on that account. Someone stole her identity. That's how she found out why she was getting so many inappropriate things sent to her. And the outcome for that, she got into a state of depression. She was attacked by family members, not physically but verbally, because they assumed it was her. Even though she said she didn't do it, they assumed it was her, and they thought really low of her. And that was on the website Reputation Defense website. And those are just not the basics, but the highest reasons why you need to be careful what you post on social media, whether you believe it or not, no matter your age, it will affect you greatly, even if it's not from you but from someone else.
So Elizabeth, what did you think?
I liked how you started off with personal experience on how of the consequences and dangers of social media, and how posting private things or secrets on the internet can have a negative impact and even destroy friendships. Two things about your speech that I thought were good was that you try not to look at your flashcards. You had some eye contact, but I did notice that you would look at the ground or at the screen when you're speaking. I also thought it was good that you explained unfamiliar words to the audience. Two things you could improve on. In the beginning of your speech, I thought you could have prepared a little more. You had some pauses, which I thought you probably should build up those gaps. I like the visual aids you had. It showed the different types of reactions people would have to certain messages or whatever they would post on social media. Overall, he gave examples and explained your information, but I think you needed to work on the smoothness of your presentation.
All right. Well, I like the story at the beginning about the experience in high school with your cousin. I think that's a pretty good illustration, although it takes you a long time to get through it. It takes you 2 minutes, and we're still not sure exactly where you're headed with this. Ultimately, we discover it is about social media, so you need to kind of condense this, and you need to get to the point. You have a tendency to stretch things out, and you probably need to focus your story a lot more and get to the point so that you can move to the next thing faster. And that's a problem throughout the presentation. There are a lot of those places where you kind of wander off and you've got another addendum and here's something else about this and then this happened and you know, why are you sharing it in the first place? Get to that point and then show us how it fits that. And you kind of wander around on those subjects and often with incomplete descriptions. And that's problematic too, because then we're having a hard time figuring out how your point illustrates the thing that you're talking about. Defining out of context, and what was the other term that you used, that you offered a definition for? Seemed like those were probably less necessary than a simple example would have been. I don't know, because I didn't see, I didn't hear any of the other context of the quote. It sounds like the guy who gave the tweet about women go to the kitchen and that sort of thing. At first it sounded like that was going to be your example of out of context. He was making some joke about what somebody else had said, and he made this smart-ass comment in response to it where he's satirizing what somebody said, and people saw this and they took it the wrong way, misunderstanding what was being said. But if he gives an apology, it sounds like he's saying, well, yeah, I did say that, and it was a stupid thing for me to say. So I'm not exactly sure what point it is that illustrates, except that people say stupid things online. And here's an example of one. That's all you needed to say then. Say, as an example of something stupid that somebody put online, here is this guy's comment, during the playoffs, blah, 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 blah. Imagine the love that he got from all of the women and men who think that this is an idiotic idea. Of course, he's going to look like a fool. Justine's problem, of course, is multi-layered. She had multiple tweets, apparently, that contributed to her focusing attention on it. And then she gives an excuse, well, I'm drunk, I shouldn't be held responsible for what I say when I'm drunk. And your point is, look, anything that you say, somebody's going to see and respond to. Here's what she said. She can't say that she didn't say it. It's her account, and so on and so forth. And then, but later on, there's a point where it says there is stuff that she wasn't accountable for, but because she'd already been painted with this brush, she got held responsible for it because after somebody hacked her account and shared all this other. Wasn't it her whose information was it where her whole family was pissed off at her afterwards?
It was the 23-year-old executive sales executive. She was
who what? Not the same person.
No.
Okay,
no.
So that's another example of an incomplete story. I'm not exactly sure what happened there. What did she say? What did she do? And then how did this get hacked? There's just like, it's almost contradictory for me to say it. There's incomplete descriptions of the stories, but you also need to get to the point quicker. And I can see that sounds like it's contradictory. When you watch your speech, you're going to notice there's a lot of wandering around. Just as a way of demonstrating that, your speech was 12 minutes and 12 seconds long, which is 50% overtime. It's not a little bit overtime. It's half again as long as the speech was supposed to be. And so when I said that you need to kind of get to the point, I think that's what I'm saying here. Organizationally, I couldn't tell exactly where you're going. It seems like it's just being organized by the examples of the stories that you're telling. And I think at the beginning it sounded like you said, I'm going to talk about context, proportionality, and then maybe unintended consequences is your third point. But I never really heard that as a structure in the presentation after that. It came up a little bit when you were doing the definition thing. And then there's this fake news reference at one point, and you've got this, it sounds like there's a quote that's about how fast fake news goes and how long regular news takes. And I'm not sure if that was somebody's quote, somebody's research, just a smart-ass comment that somebody posted online, or your interpretation of what's going on. It didn't sound like it was your interpretation because you were having a hard time saying it. So if it's coming from someplace else, you need to attribute it also. All right, let's stop there.